just the sense of going into this weekend, which is, plus free agency, and how do you address the needs of this team to end this playoff drought?
Boy, John, I think there are a number of possibilities, and there's nothing imminent, and there's a lot of conversation. I think we're looking at a new collective bargaining agreement, or an agreement that's still relatively new and in the works, and teams are trying to figure out how to best use it to their advantage. So it's pretty wide open. It'll be a lot of fun. There's obviously, we're picking at 13, and based on the discussions with our scouting staff, I think there's a good player there as well. So we'll just have to let it play out.
Based upon your review that you've spent reviewing this team, is there enough on this team at this point that makes you confident that they can make the playoffs next year?
I am. I know that, looking back at last season, the disappointment of not making the playoffs, I think if you throw Tim Connolly in there for a full season and what we saw at the end of the year, I think when you look at Ryan Miller's game over the course of last season, I think you're seeing a group of guys also that are maturing, and maturation's a big thing. We're no longer a young team. We're no longer. We're certainly not an old team. We're a team that I think still has a lot of upside. We've got young players in the system. I think they'll challenge for positions this year, and I can, look at whether it's Nathan Gervey or Timmy Kennedy, and you look at Tim Kennedy as an example, who led the American League for rookie scoring. Those are all good things. Then you add in Tyler Meyer, the first-round pick from last year, who just had an outstanding season. Those are all real bright spots, and they're just a couple of them. So I think it's a group that will get better, and then hopefully we can add to that, either through the draft, through the prospects, or some sort of trade.
So do you feel like there isn't major work that you need to do by trade or by free agency? Is it safe to say you feel like you need to tinker more than you need to make any kind of major moves or shakeups?
I don't know that there's going to be a lot of major moves available. I think that there are teams that are sitting on the sidelines that have just really emptied out a lot of players and created a very strong cash position and really want to reload. So when I look at the available unrestricted free agent players, I look at the past July 1st, and that is a very expensive way to do business. In some ways, it has become a regretful way to do business, and so whatever moves we make in that area, I think we have to keep in mind that we've got to help the team in the short run and not damage it in the long term as well.
Darcy, everybody knows about the top of the draft, Tavares and Hedman. Mm-hmm. Last year was all about the defensemen early on, and yourself, your team with Myers. What's this draft all about? And you said, how confident are you that you get a good player at 13?
We are confident. I think that when you look at this draft, one of the things that really stands out is the depth and the quality of junior players from Sweden. Sweden probably has, I think they have the top 8 ranked players in the European pool, and so they're going to play a very big role. But I think when you look at the North American side, there really is a strong, there's forwards, defensemen, you really are going to have the ability to pick, a different type of player depending on your situation.
I overheard you on the radio, and you talked a lot about the need to establish accountability in that room. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the accountability and the leadership in that room needs to be brought out more. How big of a concern is that, and do you think you have enough leaders there?
I view it as an opportunity. I think the timing's now where, whether you want to look at players like Paul Gaustad, Ryan Miller is certainly one of those players, Tim Connolly's one of those players, Reve was a very important addition last year. This is a group now that, when they look around the dressing room, and there may be a couple of changes, but they really have to look at themselves first and then at each other and say, starting with themselves, how can I help the team, and then looking at each other, how can I help you help the team. And I think we're at a growth stage in this organization where they not only can they do that, they need to do that, and we need to help them get that done.
Is toughness and maybe grit something that you'd like to add to this team, and how easy or not easy is that to be able to add to this roster?
Well, I think the word, you need very strong competitors, and it comes in a lot of different ways. It comes in some toughness. It comes in competing for pucks. It comes in, the will of getting things done. It's something that we want to improve in. How tough it's going to be, that's a bit of an unknown right now, and we'll certainly know more after we get past the July 1 date.
Have you talked to Yarrow's agent at all?
I have. I spoke with him last week. I expect to speak to him again in the next few days, and it'd be nice if we can get something done, if we can find some way to get something done. He certainly had a good year last year.
Are you open, are the discussions at the point where he still hasn't indicated whether he's going to go to July 1st?
He has not. When I spoke to him, we have made him an offer. Whether that's going to work, I think there's, you never know. I think when you get to this time, the likelihood is the player will probably go to July 1, but, we'll continue to work on it, and hopefully we can get something done.
What about Drew Stafford?
Drew Stafford is, is one of the restricted free agents. Drew, Clark MacArthur, Sakara. So those are three of them. I think there's more. I should have brought a list down, but we're working on them as well.
Are you worried if it gets to July 1st with Drew that he could get an offer sheet?
Any of the restricted free agents are eligible for offer sheets after July 1.
What was your reaction to losing, well, I guess in a sense, your reaction to losing Zagrapan to the KHL, and what might you do? Would you still consider extending him an offer sheet?
Well, we qualified him,
okay.
and that we reserve our rights. He'll just continue his development in Russia for now, but we retain his rights in the National Hockey League. So we'll keep track of him.
Are you fine with that decision?
I would have preferred he stayed over here and been a part of our organization, but I understand what he's that he felt he needed a bit of a change, and other players have done it. Hopefully, it works out for us and him as well.
Darcy, what's the likelihood that Tyler Myers is playing here next year?
Well, I think if you would have asked me that question when we drafted him, I would have said it was very, very close to 0%. I think what's happened now is we are going to have to give him a look. He is, started the season strong, went to the World Junior Championships, probably was Canada's best defenseman, used in all of the key defensive roles. He's a big man that's starting to put on weight now, and his game has really taken off, really matured. So. It's something that we have to approach carefully. We have to make sure that he's going to have a long career, and we have to put him in a position, first of all, to be not get in over his head on one hand, and make sure that if he's here, he can help both the team and himself.
It's either here or back to juniors. Is that correct?
It is. We don't have the ability. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to send him to the American Hockey League because he is as young as he is. He has to return to junior.